there's been massive solar flares
Yep.
hitting the earth, but they should be enough to take out the power grids, but they haven't. The benevolent ETs that I work with, so the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Lyrians, like all hands on deck. So what they're doing is they're intercepting the energy that's coming in from the sun.
Hi, I would
Hi.
like to welcome to the show Chelsea, who is an intuitive healer and a divine channel. Hi, Chelsea. I'm glad for you to be here.
Hi, Lawrence. Thank you so much for having me. I really glad to be here.
I'm thank you. Thankful and I'm excited.
Me
So
too.
my first question is, what were you doing before your spiritual awakening?
Oh boy. Um, it's really funny because for a lot of my life, I worked for like big companies. I
Mm,
managed like cell phone stores. I worked for banks. Um, but it's funny because I always worked with people. So I was always like serving customer service. And yeah, pretty much that's what I was doing before. I actually just quit my job a week ago.
Oh,
I was
wow.
serving. Yeah, I was
So
serving at a restaurant.
did you go full-time spiritually now or?
So yeah, that's the plan. I just, I had something happen at work and, something inside of me, and I've been doing so much work lately. I'm sure you can feel with the shifts as well,
Mhm.
right? Like, when something is just not resonating with you, especially now with all of these energetic shifts, with all of the changes,
Yeah.
it's like, and something happened at work, and I was like, you know what? No, this isn't. I could tell that like somebody was deliberately trying to like lower my vibration, trying to like deliberately make me feel bad. And my
Well,
first thought was, I've spent so much time working on being happy and being positive. I'm not going to let somebody try and break me down. So, yeah.
it's just them saying it's time to move to your purpose.
Sure. Well, yeah, I just so my social media, I've really so when COVID started a couple years
Hmm.
ago, a lot of people were posting a lot of negative things online. And
Yeah.
that's really where my social media journey started
Oh,
because
wow.
I was like, um, I really got sick of like seeing the fighting and like the negative energy that it was creating. And I didn't want to be involved with that. I wanted to spread positivity and love and, like just um I just really wanted to do something good because, with all the lockdowns, with everything that was happening, there was a lot of like negative energy. And I just knew that was the beginning for me. I was like, no, I'm not going to participate in this. I'm going to, I'm going to spread the love. I'm going to spread the light. So I did.
Good for you. I have a lot
Yeah.
of friends who's like, well, although you're making a lot of money in this industry, but it's not aligned with your soul mission now since we're
Yeah.
shifting, we're kicking off.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh boy. So yeah. And yeah, I've seen a lot of them. And then when you started to do your soul purpose, then it suddenly picks up like crazy as well. And you don't
Yeah.
even realize it in anticipation or something. Like,
With my social media, I've really worked very hard at it for the last few
mhm.
years. I've only been doing videos, I think for the last year, I've been doing videos, but you got to start somewhere. I'm sure
I
like when
know.
you start a podcast, it's
I know.
like find your groove and like to get into it. But the reason that I've been so successful on my page and with my videos is because my intent was to never do it for money or do it to get like attention
Or
or
do
anything.
it for yourself. Yeah.
I did it to help others. And I also did
Yes.
it for myself because a lot of my videos, I went through a pretty traumatic experience living at home with my dad. And I never really got into the whole story. My mom had passed away like 2 years ago, and it was a really hard time. And my social media, like, that's when I really started channeling very heavily from spirit. And it was like my spirit guides are telling me the information that we're giving you, like, you need to share this. So that's what I did. And I started, channeling these messages. And I'm at the point now where like not everything I channel is for me. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'll get channeled messages that are specific for specific collectives, for
Mm-hmm.
specific people. But that's what it started off as, you
Oh,
know?
wow.
So yeah.
It's like I was about to tell you about this podcast. Technically, it just started like 3 weeks ago.
Wow, good
And
deal.
technically my bookings, because I normally release per week, right? But my bookings like 3 weeks already fully booked every day. I have an interview. So it's like, oh boy.
Wow.
And before, well,
That's incredible, Lawrence.
yeah. Well, before this one, I was a psychic surgeon, and well, I'm still am, and a cash reader, but I put that aside
Wow.
for now because now I'm doing this to be of
Yeah.
service for I have my
Felt
own.
called.
Yes,
Yeah,
technically, yeah. Well,
that's so beautiful.
because I realized something when I was doing my services with people is that
Yeah.
when spirituals or light workers like us started to talk about ourselves, we look like self-centered. And the way to navigate through that is someone else asking you about your story and everything. So that's why, how about I do that, and I'll, instead
Yeah.
of them trying to look like self-centered, then I'll ask them about their history. And
Wow.
so
That's really good,
that's
Florence. I really do believe that self-love, telling your story, and being about yourself is so important because that's a high vibrational energy.
I
When you
know.
love yourself, when you are, you know what I mean? When you're feeling yourself,
Yeah.
like you are receiving energy. It's beautiful. And a lot of people, yes, there comes a point where like ego gets involved and, it sometimes is not depending on where it's coming from, but
Yeah.
self-love is a beautiful thing and loving yourself is a beautiful thing. But that's really cool that
Yeah.
you did that.
Well, technically, if you're a newly awakener,
Yeah.
and you started to see all of this, what's the truth out there, then you're like suddenly, I'm the god, I'm messiah, I'm more spiritual than you. Then suddenly later on in the way,
So,
then you're like, oh, we're all the same, we're
yeah,
technically all one as well. So then
we
you're
are
like,
all the best way I like to describe it is we are all extensions of God, but we are
yes.
all the same.
I
100%.
have a different what do you call wording, but it's technically the same.
The same. Yeah.
Yes, well, in my term, we are all source sparks,
I love that. I
but
love
we are still part of source technically. So
for
boy. So
sure.
my next question is like, what triggered your spiritual awakening?
Whew. All right. Well, um, it's a pretty intense story. So growing up, my mom was my rock. She was my best friend. She was intuitive. My mom was Arcturian, and I didn't start connecting with the ETs like the Arcturians, the Pleiadians until just a few years ago, actually. But my mom she was something else. She was a wonderful woman. She was incredible. And it was really hard because her and my dad we never had like a good home life. My dad drank a lot and he really caused a lot of trauma in our family because he had been through a lot of trauma in his life. And it was really tough. And my mom got to a point where she had been strong for so long that she really started internalizing everything that had happened with her and my dad. And she got sick. She got breast cancer in 2016, and then I believe around 2018 she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Oh wow.
And at that point, and at that time I was working at a pretty big bank in Canada, and I had just said, hey, like I need to go on leave. So the beautiful thing about that was I was able to go on leave for 2 years and then, COVID happened and everything. So I pretty much got to spend so much time with my mom before she
Mhm.
passed away. But it really triggered me in the sense of like, I saw how much my mom did for my family and how much she cared about everybody. And then it was like, as soon as she got sick, nobody cared. Nobody wanted to deal with it. And that was never my thought. I was just like, I love this woman. Like, are you kidding me? I was there. I was the only one she had. There were some people that would come visit, things like that, but my dad was out golfing, having fun and like living his
Mm.
own life, didn't care. And it it was a lot. And it got to the point right before she passed. My mom always said to me, she's like, I don't want to go to a hospice. I don't want to, pass away in a hospital by myself. So I said to them, I said, no, like bring my mom home. Like, she has to come home.
Mhm.
And the night that she passed away, I was meditating in her room with her. And I'm pretty sure she passed when I was with her, but I literally just went, I was in there. I grabbed her hand. I said, I love you, mom. Good night. And I went to my room, and it was about 11 o'clock that night. I woke up out of a dead sleep, and like out of a dead sleep, like I was in a really heavy, like REM cycle sleep.
Mhm.
I woke up and I heard my dad crying, and I opened my bedroom door and I said, hey, like leave her alone. She's resting, like, and my dad was like, where's your mother's bank card? Like, where's her bank card?
Oh.
And I was like, excuse me? Like, leave her alone. Like, just leave her alone. At the time, but my mom had passed away. He knew she had passed away. He went and slept in the other room and went and got up, got ready for work, and left with my mother's body there. I woke up and I had to find my mom. And he knew she had already passed away. And it was like, that was a huge trigger in my spiritual awakening. Like, and it's funny because I've had people I've loved pass away in the past, but it's like, when souls pass, it's like the first 2 weeks after they pass away, they're kind of earthbound. You know what I mean? Like to
Mhm.
be around the people who
Yep.
need them and stuff. And my mom was literally telling me, no, you have to give this person this, and you have to do this and do this. And like I'm like giving people her jewelry, and they're like, how did you know that she wanted me to have this? I'm like, she told me. And
Oh
it
wow.
was it was a huge awakening for me. And I really, I stayed living at that house with my dad for a year after my mom had passed away. And it got to the point where my dad had an affair for like 10 years while my mom was sick. He had already moved on, you know what I mean? And he
Mhm.
felt like the right thing to do was stay and, pay for everything and take care of things. And it was about 6 months after my mom passed away. I was still living at the house with my dad. He started bringing this woman into our house. And I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
like this is too much. And I actually just made a video about this tonight. I manifested my own apartment by the water because
Oh.
things had gotten so badly there. I
Oh
would go
Lord.
and I would sit at the beach for like 6 hours a day, and I get into these deep meditative states, and I would just picture myself anywhere but there, and just knowing like everything's going to be okay. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get out of this. And I did.
Oh boy.
And that was huge for me. And I'm telling you right now, you know, yes, it's a big responsibility for us to maintain our vibration, but you really have to look at sometimes the people that you have around you.
Yeah.
Literally 2 days after I moved out of my dad's house, I had it was just like my social media blew up. I had like unexpected money from like so many different places just coming out of nowhere. And I was like, holy smokes. And it was like days after I had moved out of this
Oh
house.
wow.
It was incredible. I mean, my dad is my dad. I know he's been through a lot. And I, you know, the only thing that I wish for him is healing and happiness. But, when you cause a lot of pain in somebody's life, it's really hard to
Forgive.
forgive, yeah, right?
Mhm.
And you know what? I have forgiven him, but I've also chosen that he's not going to be a part of my life. And that's one thing that I've been on my own. I haven't really had I've lost a lot of friends.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I've really
They
been on my
vibrated out of your space.
own. Yeah, and I've just been like I've just been a lone wolf, and it's been really tough, but it's been so rewarding and so beautiful because I find that the time that I've been alone, I've really gotten closer to God. I've
Mm-hmm.
gotten closer to my creator, and I've
I know.
had the time to, like think about the things that I'm grateful for. These are all lessons. We have soul contracts when we come to earth,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we have contracts with these people to learn certain things.
Yep.
And it can be tough. It can be very tough, but you know what? The main thing is to look at it like, hey, that was a beautiful lesson. I know on the other side, like we don't fight like this or talk like this because it's all love, and
I
like
know.
I've always believed that, and I know this. So the souls that take on the hardest positions in your life are like your biggest fans on the other side. And
Yep.
that's why they've taken on these roles.
Very
So
true. Yeah.
yeah, and that makes it so much easier to forgive. And that makes it
Yeah.
so much easier to, maybe you're not supposed to be in my life, but like I will always have love for
Mm-hmm.
you. And I will always, understand that if certain things happen for a reason. And this is like the first time I've ever really spoken about. I mean, I've made a couple of videos about what happened with my dad, but this is the first time I've really like gotten into it. But it was a huge trigger for me. Like I was literally living in this house and he was trying to get like a court document to have me removed. And it
Oh
was
my.
just like it was such a stressful situation. He was trying to change the locks and he was calling the police all the time. He drank a lot, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he really just did everything he could to make me uncomfortable and not welcome. But that really pushed me to a point to get myself out of there, to manifest something
Yep.
better for myself. And that's one thing that I really, so I've started taking on clients and I've started working with other people. And that's one thing that I really want to help others with. Don't wait until you get to
The
a point
sledgehammer.
where yeah, you know what I mean? Like start manifesting, start creating before you get uncomfortable.
Yes.
You know what I
Actually,
mean?
I have a similar situation. Like, they told
Really?
me, right, when how you treat yourself, it reflects in your reality, right? This is a
Oh,
little bit earlier on my awakening, and they said, rest, treat
yeah,
yourself how you want to be treated as well. And I said,
yeah.
no, I need to finish this. Until one time, my grinder saw, I've grinded it, then it suddenly
Um,
kicked back, cut my bicep in here.
oh
Oh my
my
God.
God.
But I looked at it, I was like, okay, fine. I put Band-Aid on it very calmly because I know what's happening.
Oh
Because I
my
just
God.
realized I just got the sledgehammer or the car crash because the nudging didn't work. So I got that. I went to the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
Later on, the thing is that my family suddenly said, "Oh, rest, rest." Suddenly,
Yeah.
and now
You got to
it's
rest before you're
more
forced
balanced.
to.
It's like they're trying to kick you out forcibly something. It's like, come
Yeah.
on, do your guidance. Keep on
Yeah,
hesitating. So
for sure. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. But that's a prime example of,
yeah,
resting and doing what you have to before the universe
follow the guidance.
like
Oh, you are cutting off a little bit.
sure.
Let me just wait for your connection to establish.
I think it's good. I think we're good
Okay, there
now.
you go. Actually, when you are speaking about your manifestations, right, and everything, I just recalled something that I'm starting to fear something, but I'm trying to what do you call this? Handle it. Because I said, as long as you started to finish your lessons, your vibration goes up, right? Because now you can see it more in the bigger picture. Then
Yep.
the more your vibration go up, the faster your manifestation comes in.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking about something a while ago and it
Mhm.
manifested in a few hours. And I
Yeah.
was like, that is scary. Now I'm trying to think, don't think negative. Don't think negative. I don't
Yeah.
want to.
That's, and that's the biggest part, right? Because we have so many things in life that keep us scared and stuck, like having to like, and it's like root chakra really does get attacked heavily on this
Yeah.
planet, right? Because like your sense of security, and it's like, especially for star seeds, for earth
Mhm.
angels, for chosen ones, we come
Yeah.
here and we're like, oh, well, this isn't really my vibe. Like, I don't really want to like work a job and have to do all this stuff. You know what I mean? And that's the hardest part. But we navigate, we figure it out.
Yeah. Well,
And
technically, yep. Go ahead.
and it's really important that you watch what you're thinking and you deprogram yourself and you rewire your
Mm-hmm.
brain for good, for positive. And I just said this in my video today. I said, if you keep sitting there worrying about something and thinking about it, the universe doesn't know good or bad thoughts. The universe is just going to say, okay, here you go.
One
You're
saying
thinking about
yes.
it. Yeah, you can have it. You're thinking about this so much, you must really want it, you
Yeah.
know?
I keep on
So,
telling my clients, worry is the worst kind of prayer. Why?
wow.
It have
Yes.
your emotion, it have
Mm-hmm.
your thoughts in advance, and
Yep.
your action is included. One of the three major factors to manifest something. So when you
Yeah.
worry, you focus your energy on that. Tada!
Yeah.
It happens.
I just said that in my video today. I said your vibration, your thoughts, and your actions all
Yeah,
tie in. Yeah. Those are the three main things to manifestation.
that's why.
Because if you're worrying, you're lowering your vibration. And
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like it's it's tough to master that, but once
Mm-hmm.
you do, boy, does life get really good.
I know I was messaging the other group I have, and I was like,
Mhm.
I just like just a few days ago, I
Mhm.
just reached the stage where I'm completely or constantly in a bliss. Like
Yeah,
when
me
something
too.
bad happened, I was like, back up, see it like a dream.
Yeah.
I need to learn
Observe.
it. Oh, I need to do that one. Then
Observe. Don't
yes,
absorb. Yeah. I
I
love
don't
that.
let it take in and I react. No, you have to watch
Yeah.
back a little bit, then respond to it.
Yeah, for
Oh
sure.
boy. Looks like we can
It's
talk about.
not easy. It's really not easy. And I find, a lot of people that really struggle with that are a lot of people who have gone through a lot of tough things in their life. But
Mm-hmm.
we don't go through tough things for no reason. You know what I mean? It's to
Yes.
help us step into our power. You
Mm-hmm.
can't find your light unless you go through the darkness. You know what I mean?
Yes. You won't. Actually, light is born out of darkness. It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. That's why you start
Yeah.
meditating. So you find your tiny spark to start your spirituality. Then it
There you go.
grows, right? That's technically how it. But
Yeah.
people keep on fearing darkness as well. But it's just two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
So
Duality. And
yes.
spiritually speaking, there really is no right or wrong. Everything is in degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I've really found in the last couple of years, especially when I was going through all the things I was going through with my dad, I I've always been of the light, but I did have darker entities approaching me and saying like, "Hey, this relationship is throwing off the balance and like we're fully here to support you. We don't want anything from you, but we'll support you." And that's when I realized that I really do have like shamanic roots. Like I can work with darkness, I can work with light.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think of the
The
quote,
same.
angels protect me and demons respect me.
Yeah.
Right?
But some
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, demon worshippers." But
Yeah,
this
it's
is the
not like
thing.
that. It's not
It's
like that.
it's their programming. It's like
Yeah.
when I was telling about another group about this. It's like if
Mhm.
one person saw one of your guides, which is a Black Panther who is a Lyran, a galactic,
Wow.
what will
Wow.
they say? Demon.
Yeah.
And we say that with humanoids, but they haven't seen the mantises, the antoids. The
Yeah.
most scariest one that I found, the bat type. They look like vampires in the movies.
Oh, are those? I know, like when I was younger, I used to have like the shadow people.
Mm-hmm.
They would come around me all the time when I was younger.
But
Like dark shadows with red eyes.
oh no, but I mean they look like vampires but bigger. I mean
Yeah.
vampire. No, no, no. They look like bats but bigger.
Bat. Oh my gosh. Maybe there's like the shadow people, red eyes, right?
Yeah, red eyes.
Oh my God.
But
Do you
it's
know?
just and it's just what do you call this? A race, right?
Yeah, it's an entity, and it's like on Earth, there's so many dimensions that overlap, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
these beings have access to like our reality, right? But it depends on
Mm-hmm.
like where you're at to be
Even
able to perceive it.
even the most what do you call wisest
Mhm.
Akashic record guardian that I met is an octopus.
That's so
So
cool.
and they are called the wisest because they are, if you research, octopus have the largest brain and all their cells are technically brain and receptors.
They're not from here. They're
Yep,
definitely
even
not.
dolphins and even whales. That's
Yeah.
why when you do birthing with the whales and dolphins, your sometimes your kid becomes psychically advanced.
Wow, that's really cool.
I got exposed a lot as well. So,
Yeah.
so
That's
we could
really
talk
cool.
for hours. Make this
Yeah.
a 24-hour podcast. Oh, I'm just kidding.
I can talk about spiritual stuff
Okay.
forever.
Oh boy. So the one that I was receiving to like after our other conversation a while ago is like
Mm.
some people think I'm more spiritual than you. I can see ghosts. You can't, but every one
Yeah.
of us is unique. Earth is an Earth school, right? And
Hmm.
when you are in college or in high school, you don't care if someone is first year or third year. If you're
Hmm.
fourth year and you're not saying I'm more knowledgeable than you, because they will reach fourth year later on regardless.
Hmm. For
But
sure. We're all on our own journey.
well, in comparison with the Earth school, when
Hmm.
someone says, oh, I'm more like an old soul fourth year than you, I'm more stronger, but technically it's just a grade, and sooner or later they will reach
We
that
will be
stage.
there. Yeah, for
And
sure.
time on the other side is technically just like that, and it's just ego something. But
It's ego, for
I'm not
sure.
saying I'm saying the negative old ego, because when you
Mhm.
unload it and really reprogram it, it becomes an
Yeah,
multidimensional ego.
yeah.
Okay, okay, enough about that. So let's go back to you. So
We
now I'm
all,
curious.
so to go off what you just said, we all have the ability to access our gifts,
Mm-hmm,
but there's a lot of people that choose not to because it's too much, right?
mm-hmm,
And I find with um I know I'm a star seed, so I've pretty much been everywhere you can imagine. I've been reptilian, I've been Anunnaki, I've been Arcturian, Pleiadian, I've been all around, like I've been everything. And the one thing that I've noticed in this lifetime specifically was I had the ability going through traumatic things in my life to physically leave my body
oh wow. Astral.
while it was happening, right? Like I could always just kind of like whoop, just kind of go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we all have access to this. And I say this all the
Yes.
time. Like, you can't judge people. And this is why I have compassion for my dad and not hate.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I forgive him because I understand that, he's been through a lot of things that he wasn't able to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I've been through a lot of things and I've had to deal with a lot of things that made me grow up very quickly. But at the same time, I know that I was placed in my bloodline to heal and to do that,
Oh
you
wow.
know?
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I
technically,
know.
we chose as star seeds the darkest places so that we can
Yeah.
shine.
Shine our light for
Yeah.
sure.
And what do you call this? I forgot about it. Forgot about it. I was about to say something. Normally, I get guidance like this. Then I was like about to say this, but they said nope, not time yet. They cut me off. Then
Okay,
I become blank. I was,
I understand.
yeah.
They stopped you. I get
So,
it.
my curious question is like, what form of guidance you normally receive?
I work specifically with the angelics. I'm an earth
Mhm.
angel. Archangel Michael is a huge, huge presence in my life. I've worked with him for a long time now. And it's funny because I really started working with him. So in 2011, I was dating somebody and he passed away suddenly.
Oh
And
boy.
that was so I took 2 weeks off of work. I was working in a bar at the time. And when I went back to work, I didn't, and it's funny because I didn't realize it was Archangel Michael until a couple years later when I started advancing and I started getting downloads more. And I had a man come into my work and he was like, he took one look at me and he's like, "Oh, are you okay?" I just started bawling my eyes out. I'm like, "It's my first day back to work." Like I lost my boyfriend. I really loved him, and he had the most beautiful blue eyes I've ever seen, and like silvery gray hair, like curly silvery gray hair. And he's like, "Oh, I'm a Reiki master and this and that." And like he literally would just, and there's one thing that he said to me that has always stuck with me. He said, whenever you're feeling bad or you have like, yucky feelings, he's like, I want you to picture a funnel of light above your head. And he's like, I want you to ask Archangel Michael to take all the bad stuff out and put light into you. And to this day, I still do that. But it was incredible. Archangel Michael's come to me a couple of times, but this man, it was Archangel Michael in human form. He came back to my work for a straight month. And we would have a beer and we would talk. And then all of a sudden, it was like as soon as I got to a point in my healing journey where I felt a lot better, I never saw him again. And actually, I still have um I still have his card here.
Oh wow.
Humble handyman, and it's blue. Isn't that funny?
I know. I
Humble
have a
handyman. And I've kept that card for years and I
oh
didn't
boy.
understand why, but it was Archangel Michael. And then recently, I think in the last 6 months, I was at a coffee shop and I have tattoos, right? He saw like my sacred geometry tattoos. This man, again, ice blue eyes. And it was funny because when I saw him, he was with another angel that he was kind of like training, right?
Mhm.
Like it was really funny because this guy was like, "Oh, is that a witch symbol? Are you a witch?" And like Archangel Michael just kind of looked at him. He's like, "Those are beautiful tattoos." He's just kind of like, "Come along, let's go." Like it was really funny,
Oh
but it was
boy.
cool. Like, it's incredible when you start working with the angelics and when you start working with energy and
Yeah.
I can talk to my mom whenever I want. And
Yes.
that's a beautiful gift I've had. I've had premonition dreams since I was 11. I'm really good with like tarot. And that's one thing that I'm so grateful for, that I can connect with my loved ones who have passed away.
Wow.
Animals who have passed away come through and connect with me. And it's a really beautiful gift. But yeah, I work heavily with the angelics, and I work through my healing. I do quantum healing with the Arcturians.
I do Arcturian as well. They're I'm on my second, they're teaching me something else right now. I finished the
Yeah,
first lessons, but there's
that's
teaching me
amazing.
something else as well right now.
That's
Okay,
amazing.
continue.
Yeah, it's just it's really cool. And for me, I never really thought that I was gonna be, my social media went from like 5K to 10K in like the last 3 months.
Oh
And
yeah.
it kind of like it just blew up. And it's like I never thought that I would be in this position, but it's so important when you are in a position of power to use your power for good, to
Yes.
help others, you know what I mean? And I think that's what gets lost in translation. There's a lot of spiritual gurus, there's a lot of spiritual people out there that they don't really care, and that was
Mhm.
my intention when I started my Facebook, when I started my healing. I was like, I'm doing this because I want to help people, you know, and it's, if I get paid for it,
Yep.
great.
It
But that was never like, I was never like, oh, I'm gonna like
mhm.
do this for money, and like I've
Yeah.
found like that approach has just been,
Well,
you know,
technically it comes, right? When you start doing this and it go on, then
yeah,
abundance just normally comes in and you don't need to
abundance
ask
follows
for
your
it.
purpose.
Yes. Well,
Yeah,
technically it's like you're having your own perfect ichigai.
yeah,
Ikigai.
yeah,
It's like it's your passion. You love
yeah,
what you're doing. You're
yeah,
getting paid for it,
yeah,
and it's your professional work.
yeah.
Technically all
It's
in
your
one.
your contribution, your gift to the
Mhm.
collective, right?
Yes. I have a similar experience with your Archangel Michael, but I
Really?
at the first on my initial awakening, because everyone will say you're crazy. My explanation
Yeah,
is like, if everyone was have their eyes closed and you say you're the only one who can see the sky, and you say the sky is blue and everyone's saying the sky is air,
yeah.
right? Then you will be crazy. Then I got depressed and everything. And suddenly this guy from my mom-in-law's friend, which is a stranger, suddenly
Hmm.
contacted her. I want to meet with you guys. So I was grumpy and I was like, do we have to treat this guy just like a stranger? I'm still in my lower vibe times. And I was like, okay, let's go. Then
Yeah,
in a life of a person, you will have to face multiple what do you call this? Exit points.
yeah.
And it's your free will if you will exit or not.
Please stay.
And on that point of my life, because my awakening was like an OBE and it's a
Mhm.
choice as well. There's the let me pull back a bit. So I got an OBE where my soul, my well, technically astral is you're still in a soul form, right? But this
Yeah.
time when I was sleeping, on my awakening, I got pulled off, but I can feel everything like a human. But
Uh,
I went through the roof, I can see the insulation and everything, and I shrink. And I keep on going to the sky, and they said, are you going to leave them? I look down and I see two dark entities going to my house.
wow.
And by the time, I don't know why force a soul energy in my hand and I throw it down there and I drop like a log because I don't know how to fly.
Wow.
When I stood up, I was in the front of my patio door. It's glass, and I saw my higher self. And normally, when you're doing astral travel, and people will say, "Oh, I see an orb. That's your soul," or "I see a humanoid light being, light body." So that's the
Hmm.
normal vision that they normally see. But the one I looked at, he's a light body.
Hmm.
His hand is very long, and his wings is different, not
Yeah.
feathery. It's lacy, and he have four flat horns, five.
Seraphim?
And, and I draw him, and I was like, when I like wake up, I draw him, and
Wow.
I hit one of those dark entities. Then I woke up. I have a pain in my rib. The
Oh
next
my God.
day, I got encountered my first Galactic Federation encounter. They said,
Wow.
we fixed something on your rib, take care of it. Then when I woke up, I grabbed something in here. I was like, oh, it's gone. But looks like I feel like
God.
I have a broken rib, something here. Then they said I
Mhm.
dealt dealt something with the second entity that was. So, but that's another story. But let's go back to
Yeah.
here. So I was grumpy because it's real. I'm a skeptical. If I don't
Hmm.
see it, I don't sense it. It's not scientific. No,
Hmm.
I'm that hard skeptic. And when everyone's saying you're crazy
Hmm.
because it's a nuts experience, right? So this guy just came in, blonde hair, blue eyes,
Archangel
and
Michael.
I'm so down that time, and we're eating in the restaurant, and they're talking and everything. Then he suddenly stuck to me with a single phrase that really etched into my intuition that there's something here that's not really
Yeah.
something. That's something special. He said,
Yeah.
they're too young. My kids. He's talking about my kids. They're too young. I was like,
Wow.
you better take care of yourself. That's how I was like, okay. Then
Yeah.
after that, that guy disappeared. I
Yeah.
couldn't connect with everything, all gone. So,
So
so when you're telling about the story about Michael, it's like, oh, it's that story. So yeah.
I I now know that I specifically trained with Archangel Michael before I came to this planet. And I honestly, you did too. because Archangel Michael comes to certain people who he has trained and are part of his angelic family. And I really feel like you definitely are. He will show up, in your toughest times. And he'll show up when you need him, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, that's
Um,
incredible.
one side note, when I woke up, I realized I'm an angelic because of the images on my awakening, right?
That's why I
The
just
thing
said what
is,
I said. You're an earth angel.
the thing is that why I named this Angelus Regalia
Yeah.
collective is not from me. They said
Yeah.
they said this is my collective. Then I was like, because I because when you started awakening, you will become hungry for information, right? Then you keep on as they keep on exposing information. Then I started asking, do I have a collective? Then they said yes. What's the name of it?
Wow.
Then they said this is the name.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started drawing my higher selves. And one
Wow.
of them was a yin yang seraphim, a black
I've
like
just said the picture you drew, seraphim. Did you
yes,
hear? I don't know if you heard me say that, but it
yes, I
sounded like
heard.
seraphim when you said the lace wings.
Oh, but that person is different. The one
Was
that
it?
I draw is my primary higher self.
Okay.
But there's a seraphim that taught me about duality, about black and
Wow.
white, that she said, um, destruction and creation is all the same. It's like water. You boil it, it becomes a cloud, then it
Hmm.
drops, it becomes a blessing to the land.
Yeah.
Destruction, creation, it's all the same.
Yeah.
It's everything is neutral until you put a label on it.
Yes.
Okay, okay, let's move on to you. I'm starting to enjoy this conversation, so I was like, oh boy.
Wow, that's really beautiful. And it's like one thing that I've really learned is energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be transmuted. So even if, you do create something that, out of fear or um, out of like a lower vibrational feeling, it can always be turned into something beautiful.
I know. That's what they taught me as well. Actually,
Yeah.
it's Michael and Gabriel who taught me. It's like, and
Oh,
Seraphim, they said, don't make barriers anymore.
yeah.
Convert it. Convert it. It's waste of
Yeah.
energy. Just convert it and
Yeah.
absorb it. I said, okay, let's create
I
it.
work with Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael because I'm a healer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've realized in the last year I've really gotten a lot of downloads. So I've had many past lives in Egypt. I was a priest for Anubis. I was a priestess for Isis and Hathor. And I've really started realizing like I will get downloads of information and then I'll see like a video on TikTok or something and then it's like literally something that I've already been practicing and I got a download for and I'm like, how did I know that? Like that's the thing,
Oh wow.
It's
We
so
should
cool when you get this like information and it's like,
we should probably talk about your past lives in another episode.
I would love to, yeah. My
Probably.
I have huge ties to Egypt. I actually have a friend in Egypt, Ashraf. He made this Isis
Oh
statue.
wow. It's
Yeah, I
pretty.
have aunts that he sent me, but I have major ties. And I know in the next short little while, I'm going to be going to Egypt. So I'm excited.
Oh boy, and I'm envious.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
boy.
so excited. It's been a wait, but I'm ready to go.
Oh boy. So
Yeah.
my other questions will be is like since we are channeling source and spirit, where do
Yeah.
you think the world's heading?
Where the world is heading,
Mm-hmm.
we have already shifted. So we are already in the age of Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, essentially what's happening, and this is what I've gotten from spirit, we are playing out the last little bits of things that have been manifested from lower vibrational places. We as humans are shifting because Mother Gaia is shifting. We have no choice but to shift with her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a download I got the other day actually was, I'm sure you've heard there's been massive solar flares.
Yeah.
hitting the earth. But they should be enough to take out the power grids, but they haven't. The benevolent ETs that I work with, so the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Lyrians, like all hands on deck. So what they're doing is they're intercepting the energy that's coming in from the sun, and they're giving it to us in like doses that we can tolerate,
Yeah.
right? So they're making sure that we're getting upgraded. It's kind of happening little by little because the solar flash is coming. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
happen, but because that they've been sending us these integrations, we will be able to sustain the energy that's coming in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
So
yeah, we're moving into
it will
beautiful
not
times.
shock you. Yeah.
We are in heaven on earth. We're in the age of Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
It's
cool news.
but you know what? I really love Dolores Cannon
Yes.
and her work. She's actually, I would really like to get certified as a quantum hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that. I just love her work. I'm fascinated by it. So it's something that I'm looking into. Um, but the earth is splitting into two.
Oh, you're cutting off. You're
Oh,
stuck. Oh, there you go. You're back.
picture was
Yeah.
so we are ascending, just like the Mayans, and it's like the earth is now splitting into two. And where you go is going to be your perception. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to stay in the 3D, if your soul still has lessons that need to be learned, then you'll stay on the old earth.
Mm-hmm.
But most of us are shifting to the new earth.
I know.
So, and it's already here. It's perception, right?
Mm-hmm.
We create our reality. Yes, we have soul contracts, we have lessons that we have to learn, but at the end of the day, our vibration, our thoughts dictate our reality and our experience here.
Yeah. I have a quick note of
So,
that one on soul contracts. It's like
yes,
the multi-dimensionality. I'll just make it quick. And each timeline that you are in, let's say your lesson right now is in this timeline, and
yeah,
everyone that will trigger you on this timeline will help you go to the next timeline. And
yeah,
that is their soul contract for this timeline. So don't be angry with them or don't hold the emotion,
be
because when
grateful.
you go on that timeline, they
Yeah,
need different. And I have the perfect example for that. My neighbor, the lesson
yeah.
was be public. We
Mm-hmm.
always talk about renovation.
Mm-hmm.
When I started, they said, post this publicly. And I was like, then once I did that, the next day my neighbor came in. Oh, I'm meditating. I was like, what?
Whoa,
What?
that's crazy.
I was like,
That's
that's out of the
insane.
blue. So depends on
Well, at the end of the day, Earth is we're here to learn, and that's why we have soul contracts. We are
yeah.
here to learn from each other. We are here to grow. And the collective that I usually read for are the star seeds, the angelics, the earth angels. Like I heavily connect with that collective. And a lot of us are here to try and help others on their journey. We're not forcing anything. We're not saying, hey, you have to do this. We're doing it in a loving way. So if their soul so chooses to grow and become better, they have that choice and they can. But it's
Yeah,
like we're not forcing anything onto them, but we're like, hey, you have the option to go somewhere better.
I
Right?
know. That's very nice. So do you have any message for the audience who was like struggling with what's happening right now, the turmoil, the chaos that they couldn't cope up with?
My best advice would be meditate and let go of your limiting beliefs because your limiting beliefs are what keep you stuck. And
Mm-hmm.
it's when you make that choice to let go of something that's holding you back. It could be a situation, a person, it doesn't matter what it is. You then create space for the universe to create something better for you. So
Miracles.
even though it's scary because we're programmed like, oh no, you have to do this or whatever, this and that. That is absolutely not true. My best advice is let go of your limiting beliefs, take a chance, and watch. When you surrender and when you let go, the beautiful things that happen in your life are absolutely incredible. But it's like, it's that fear that holds a lot of
Yeah.
people back. Let go of the fear, let go of, you know, the lower vibrational programming.
Mm-hmm.
Allow yourself to have space to connect with source, with our creator, and allow the universe to help you manifest what you want to manifest.
Yeah.
The universe is like an order window. You go up to the window and you're like, okay, I want this, this, and this. But it's like when you're thinking these thoughts or you're, going back into old habits and stuff, the universe is like, well, I don't know what to do. You have to be clear and you have to be take care of yourself, take care of your vibration, take care of your thoughts. Your thoughts are so important. It is so important to watch what you're thinking. And if you catch yourself thinking something that's not great, not positive, redirect it to something
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes.
I always like to tell people you should always be feeling like something amazing is about to happen because it is,
Mm-hmm. It's
right?
just making space for the new to come.
Yeah, and that's the hard part because nope, you have to get a job, you have to go to school, you have to do this, you have to do that. Well, it's funny because we were told to do that to keep us disconnected from our
Mm-hmm.
creator, keep us disconnected from having that space. But once you have that space, there's no going back.
Yeah.
And we as a collective just quantum leaped in the last week, a huge quantum leap.
Yes.
So we're going to start seeing some incredible changes on this planet, like within the government, there's going to be really beautiful things happening, really beautiful shifts, really beautiful changes. And it might not look like that right away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, in the coming weeks, this planet is not going to be recognizable.
I know. I call it renovation.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
exactly.
because people, if you focus on the chaos of the renovation, you won't see the new that's coming in a
Exactly.
sense.
We have to hold space for the new. We have to,
Yeah.
you know, say our thanks to the old and, you know, wish it goodbye, but it's not coming with us. We can't take that stuff with us.
Yeah.
Not the
Oh
new earth.
boy. So
Yeah.
where can people find more about you and your wonderful work that you're doing?
So on Facebook, it's Chelsea Kaitara.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Chelseaa.
I'll put it in the show notes. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, I have to spell it. But yeah, I've just come to realize there's so many fake profiles. So
Mm-hmm.
I have 10K followers, of like 10,300 now, 400, I think. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my profile. TikTok, it's the same, Chelsea Kaitara. I have about 1,400 followers on there. But yeah, I post my videos. I've actually just started taking on clients. So I'm doing quantum healing. I'm doing spiritual coaching. I'm helping people, let go of their limiting beliefs and helping them be their best selves and step into their power. As humans, we've really had our power taken away from us. And
Oh
I
boy.
really feel like my mission here is to help anybody I can take their power back.
Yes. Well, it's have been a wonderful talk with
Yeah.
you, and
Thank
I
you so
enjoyed
much,
it.
Laura.
And I can't
Yeah.
wait for the second part because looks like we still have a lot to cover of your experiences.
Anytime you want
We
me
may have
back,
to
let me know.
reschedule that immediately. I'm just kidding.
I would love that. It was so
Yeah.
nice talking to you, Lauren. I
Yeah,
love
me
what
too.
you're doing here. I love what you're creating. This is such a beautiful, sacred space. And thank you so much for allowing me to be here.
And thank you for coming in as well because it's not every day that you can talk to someone who's like-minded and you some people's like I can't really talk to other people because I think I'm going crazy, but you're not.
Oh, there's a lot more of us than you think.
Yes. And we're all feel the same. We are experiencing the same exams and everything. So it's all good. So
For sure.
what are your other because you just said your offerings, and what other future offerings that you may be following up with?
I definitely want to get into the hypnosis for
Mhm.
sure. So that'll be something I'll be offering in the coming months probably, yeah. But yeah, other than that, it's just my main goal is to just channel and help the collective, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's so good. So
yeah.
I'm glad that you went to the show, and thank you. And I'll
Thank
have to
you.
check again my schedule immediately. We were we have a lot of stories to follow up with.
Yeah, for
Oh boy.
sure.
Oh boy.
It was
So
a pleasure
yeah,
here. Thank you so much for having
thank
me, and
you.
I look forward to coming back.
Me too. Okay. Have a good night.
Bye, Lauren.
Bye.